this entire presentation is mainly taken from, or maybe uh, it's a presentation of one of the books written by uh, His Holiness Dr. T.D. Singh. And we start this presentation. So today's session is an explanation of how ancient Vedantic wisdom approaches the concept of time and space, and how these ideas intriguingly intersect with modern scientific theories such as relativity. So let us begin by reflecting on how we normally think about time. Most of us imagine it as a straight line running from past to present and then to future. But in Vedantic philosophy, the concept of time, known as Kal, goes far beyond this linear view. Kal is not only merely a clock ticking or as a or a measurement of change. It is described as eternal principle, unchangeable in its essence, yet the force that governs everything in the material universe. Through Kal, birth occurs, growth unfolds, decline sets in, and eventually death arrives. In this way, time becomes both the driver of creation and the bringer of dissolution. Interestingly, modern scientific thought also echoes this idea. In Einstein's theory of relativity, for example, time is not absolute. It bends and stretches depending on the observer. Time is inseparable from space, forming the fabric we call space-time. This resonates deeply with the Vedantic insight that time is woven into cosmos itself and cannot be separated from existence. In Vedanta, Kal operates at two levels. On the cosmic level, it governs the grand cycle of creation and maintenance and dissolution, the yugas and kalps. Uh, on the individual level, it shapes the human journey of birth, death, and rebirth, uh, uh, birth, life, death, and rebirth, providing the stage on which karma plays out. In this way, Kal becomes the bridge between cosmic order and moral order. And this naturally leads us to next question. If time is eternal and unchangeable, why does everything around us keep changing? This opens the door to exploring the cyclic nature of time, karma, and justice, which we will discuss now. Yeah, we can go to next slide. So here we look at one of the most powerful declarations about time in entire Vedic tradition. From Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, verse 32, Lord Krishna reveals himself as Kal, saying, Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds. This verse presents Kal not just as neutral measure of existence, but as the very force of dissolution, the unstoppable current that consumes all beings and all creation. Here, time is not portrayed in a gentle or comforting way. Instead, it is shown in its impersonal and awe inspiring aspect, the power that governs creation, maintenance, and destruction alike. This means that time itself is one of the supreme expression of divinity beyond human control, beyond human resistance. This statement has had a deep resonance across history. When Robert Oppenheimer uh, witnessed the detonation of the first atomic bomb, he recalls this very verse from Bhagavad Gita, recognizing that humanity had touched in it in a terrifying way the destructive power symbolized by Kal. It reminds us that time, as the impersonal aspect of Lord, is not only a framework for justice and karma, but also the ultimate force that dissolves everything in the material world. By reflecting on this verse, we are invited to see time not as something trivial or mundane, but as a profound divine principle, both creative and destructive, both impersonal and inescapable. This prepares us to explore how cyclic time ensures continuity, justice, and renewal in the cosmos. Next slide. To explore how time, the modes of nature, karma are woven together to form the fabric of reality. Sage Maitreya in Srimad Bhagavatam describes Kal or eternal time as the primeval force that influences the three gunas, the modes of material nature. The three modes are sattva or goodness, rajas or passion, and tamas, also known as ignorance. They are constantly interacting, shifting, and overlapping with the framework of time. It is through their interplay, governed by Kal, that all human actions arise. For example, when sattva predominates, we may experience clarity, peace, and higher understanding. When rajas dominates, desire, ambition, restlessness drive our action. And when tamas is strong, inertia, confusion, and destruction tendency prevail. But it is the time that orchestrates these shifts, ensuring that no state is permanent. The constant movement of gunas with time gives rise to karma, countless actions and reactions that shape our destiny across lifetime. Thus, the Bhagavatam explains that time is not just a background to our existence, but the guiding force that makes the dance of nature's modes possible. And through that dance, karma unfolds, binding souls to the cycle of birth and rebirth until liberation is achieved. Yeah, next slide. So, in Vedantic cosmology, time and space are never seen as separate entities. They are deeply intertwined, each giving meaning to the other. Real time, according to this view, is not just a line moving forward. It is a it is measured in relation to the space occupied by atoms, the building blocks of matter. This means that time cannot be abstracted away from the universe. It is always linked to the material reality around us. When atoms move, when matter shifts, when space is occupied and reoccupied, time becomes visible and measurable. This understanding leads to the profound idea that Kal or eternal time is not just a background but the very driver of events. It is unseen force that sets everything into motion, orchestrating the dance of creation, maintenance, and change. Interestingly, this ancient insight finds echoes in modern science as well. Einstein's theory of relativity also tells us that time and space are not independent, they form a single continuum, space time, which bends and shifts with the presence of matter and energy. So, what Vedanta intuited thousands of years ago aligns with some of the deepest truths of the modern physics. Thus, in both Vedantic and scientific thought, we discover that time is not a separate flow, but inseparably linked with the fabric of space, making Kal the very foundation of reality. This sets the stage or understanding how cycles of time, both cosmic and personal, are grounded in this interconnected structure. Next slide. So now we make an important distinction between the absolute time and the real time in Vedanta. Absolute time represents the eternal and unchanging aspect of Kal. It flows continuously, unaffected by the movement, speed, or slowness of material phenomena. It has no beginning and no end, and it remains constant whether or not we perceive it. This is time in its transcendental cosmic sense. In contrast, what we usually experience and measure is real time. Real time is astronomically and mathematically calculated. It depends on the movement, speed, and lifespan of specific objects. This is the time that we divide into past, present, and future. the time our senses perceive and our instruments measure. Srila Prabhupada explains that while our perception of time is relative to the material world, the deeper truth is that time itself is absolute and eternal. So even though we may count hours, days or years, those measurements are only surface reflection of the underlying reality of time, which remains transcendental. This distinction reminds us that what we see is only one layer of reality. Beneath a limited sense of real time lies the eternal current of absolute time, the divine call which governs all existence beyond the reach of our instrument or perceptions. Yeah, next slide. So this slide takes us into the concept of cosmic relativity as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. According to these texts, time does not pass uniformly across the universe. Instead, the perception and the measurement of time change depending on where one exists in the cosmic structure. On the earthly plane, we experience time in a way we are familiar with day and night cycles, months and years. But in the middle planetary system, time is experienced differently. The same span of cosmic time is perceived as shorter compared to our earthly perception. In the higher planetary system, time flows even more swiftly, and at the very edge of the universe, that the passage of time diminishes drastically. What this tells us is that time is relative, not only in modern physics, where relativity shows how time bends with gravity and motion, but also in Vedantic cosmology, where different realms of existence perceive time in profoundly different ways. This perspective is strikingly parallel to Einstein's theory of relativity. Just as modern science shows that time slows down under extreme gravitational or cosmic conditions, Vedantic texts also reveal that time is not just absolute uniform stream, it shifts with location and context across the cosmos. In this way, Bhagavatam anticipates one of the most revolutionary insights of modern physics, underscoring the depth of Vedantic cosmology. It also reminds us that our human perception of time is only one slice of a much larger cosmic reality. Yeah, next slide. So this slide takes us beyond the observable cosmos into what Vedantic philosophy calls the realm of absolute time. At the very fringes of the material universe, that the text describes the passage of time as ceasing altogether. In this state, time no longer flows as we know it, it becomes absolute. Here, the familiar rules of cause and effect no longer apply. Without the framework of material interactions, there is no sequence of past, present, and future. Instead, existence is experienced as a single eternal present. This is a profound vision because it points to a dimension beyond relativity, beyond the changes of matter and energy. It suggests that the ultimate reality of time is not a flowing river, but an ever present ocean, unchanging, eternal, and transcendental. In other words, while real time governs the material universe with cycles of creation, maintenance, and destruction, absolute time stands beyond these cycles. It is the domain where the soul can transcend karma and material bondage, experiencing freedom in the eternal present. This teaching reminds us that Vedantic cosmology does not merely describe time in relation to material world. It also points to a higher dimension where liberation means entering the realm of absolute time beyond all decay and change. Yeah, next slide. So here we highlight a fascinating dialogue between ancient Vedantic wisdom and modern scientific thought. In Vedanta, absolute time is described as timeless, beginningless, and endless. It represents the state of Kal beyond the material universe, where there is no cause, no effect, and no limitation of past or future. Stephen Hawking, in his cosmological work, proposed a concept known as imaginary time. He suggested that at the most fundamental level, time may not flow in straight line with beginnings and endings. Instead, in imaginary time, the singularities, the boundaries of space time disappear. Time becomes like a closed surface without a distinct start or finish. Although these concepts arise from very different traditions, they converge on the remarkable insight that our everyday experience of time, with its division into past, present, and future, may not be the ultimate reality. Both Vedanta's absolute time and Stephen Hawking's imaginary time invite us to look beyond the surface to recognize a deeper dimension of reality that transcends the limit of ordinary perception. This parallel challenges us to think more profoundly about time, not merely as something we measure with clocks, but as a fundamental principle that shapes existence in itself, both in science and spirituality. It also shows that the wisdom of ancients and the theories of modern physics can sometimes point in the same direction toward truths that lie beyond conventional thought. Yeah, next slide. So this slide brings us to a very uh, contemplative question. What if nay, what we call real time is simply a figment of our imagination. Both Vedanta and modern theoretical physics hint that our everyday perception of time as something linear, finite, and measurable might be only a partial truth, not the ultimate reality. From the Vedantic perspective, time as we experience it is relative, tied to material universe, bound by change and decay. But beyond this relative framework lies absolute time, eternal, unbound, and free from beginnings and endings. Modern physics also suggests similar possibility. Ideas like space-time, relativity, time dilation, and even speculative models of imaginary time point towards the fact that the flow of time we perceive may not represent the deepest nature of reality. This invites us to expand our perceptive. Instead of seeing time as a narrow stream we are caught in, we are encouraged to recognize the possibility of a far more expansive and eternal dimension of existence. In this sense, both science and Vedanta converge in telling us that the true nature of time is not confined to the ticking of clocks or the turning of calendars. It may well be something immeasurable, timeless, and deeply interconnected with the eternal ground of reality itself. Yeah, next slide. So, till now, whatever we could go through, we can reflect on the key takeaways about Kal. After this, we'll also talk about slightly the cyclic nature of time. So, Kal's eternal nature reminds us that time is not merely a human construct, it is an impersonal, eternal aspect of the Supreme Lord governing all creation and dissolution. Vedanta emphasizes that time and space are deeply intertwined. Time is measured in relation to atoms of the material universe, suggesting an ancient understanding of relativity that, sorry about that, that resonates strongly with modern physics. Beyond material world, time itself dissolves into absolute timelessness. In this transcendental state, cause and effect no longer apply, and existence becomes an eternal present. Vedanta invites us to go beyond perception. It tells us that what we experience as linear, measurable time is only a surface view. The deeper reality of time is vast, eternal, and beyond the limits of our senses. This vision aligns with modern scientific ideas that challenge our conventional understanding of time. Understanding Karl enriches not only our intellectual perspective, but also our spiritual journey. It allows us to appreciate the cosmic dance of existence, where cycles of creation and dissolution, karma and justice, all unfold within the boundless flow of eternal time. Yeah, next slide. So, in Vedic philosophy, time is not seen as a straight line running from past to future. Instead, it is envisioned as a grand eternal cycle. This cyclic understanding of time is central to grasping both the nature of universe and the laws of karma. The universe is said to undergo endless cycles of creation, preservation, and destruction, known as Srishti, Sthiti, and Pralay. These cycles repeat infinitely, just as the day is followed by night and the seasons follow one another without end. Within this larger framework, cosmic time is measured in vast units called yugas and kalpas. A yug refers to an epoch within a cycle, while a kalpa, often described as a day of Brahma, contains many such yugas. These immense cycles remind us that time operates on both human and cosmic scale, weaving together personal karma and universal order. This vision also provides the essential framework for karma. Because time is cyclic, every action finds its reaction within the grand cosmic rhythm. Justice is not lost, nor is it rust. It unfolds naturally in the cycles of rebirths, yugas, and kalpas. In this way, the Vedic understanding ensures that morality and cosmic order are both preserved. Thus, the cyclic nature of time offers not only a cosmological perspective but also a moral one. It allows us to see karma as a part of a vast, ongoing dance of creation, preservation, and dissolution, where nothing is wasted and everything finds its balance. Yeah, we can go to next slide. So here we capture the central theme of our discussion, the unbroken chain of cyclic time and how it rationalizes karma. In Vedantic thought, time is not linear but cyclic, following in endless loops of creation, preservation, and dissolution and rebirth. This cyclic framework is essential for making sense of karma and justice. If life were only a single straight line from birth to death, many questions would remain unanswered, like what happened to unfulfilled karma? Why do some people suffer disproportionately while others appear to escape consequences? Without rebirth, justice would seem incomplete, even arbitrary. By contrast, cyclic time provides a coherent framework. Every action has its reaction, not necessarily in the same life, but across life, within the unbroken chain of time. Rebirth allows karma to unfold fully and fairly, ensuring that justice is not rushed but also not denied. This idea extends beyond individuals to the cosmic cosmos itself. Just as we are reborn, so too the universe moves through cycles of yugas and kalpas. This repetition ensures renewal, balance, and continuity at every level of existence. In this way, cyclic time does more than explain cosmic rhythms. It safeguards the very fabric of morality and justice. It ensures that the universe operates sanely, where finite karmic actions meet finite consequences, and where every soul's journey finds completion. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. So here we highlight the shortcomings of a purely linear view of time. If we think of time only as a straight line from birth to death with a definitive end, then the intricate balance of karmic accounts often remains unsettled. In such a framework, good deeds may go unrewarded and wrong actions may never face their consequences within a single lifespan. This creates a gap in justice, leaving us with unanswered questions about fairness in the universe. For example, think of a case of a child who passes away at an early age. In a linear model of time, it seems as though karmic forces act arbitrarily, leaving the story incomplete. Such instances give rise to the impression of cosmic injustice. This is the central weakness of linear time. It cannot explain how karmic debts and credits are fully resolved. By its very nature, linear time creates a system where moral accounts of life may never balance, leaving the universe looking irrational or even unfair. And this is precisely why Vedantic thought turns towards the concept of cyclic time, where the chain is unbroken and the karma always finds its way to resolution. Yeah, next slide. So now we turn to the question of why cyclic time is necessary. The idea of punarjanam or rebirth is central here. Rebirth acts as a cosmic ledger, ensuring that the balance of deeds, thoughts, and intentions carries forward from one life to the next. Without this continuity, karma would remain incomplete and justice would lose its coherence. Rebirth also prevents arbitrary injustice. If there were only one lifetime, then finite actions could either be ignored entirely or punished with infinite consequences, which would make the universe seem irrational or cruel. But within cyclic time, every action, whether good or bad, eventually finds its proportional result. This creates a rational and just system where the unfolding of karma is neither cut short nor exaggerated beyond measure. Finally, karma itself must be seen as a dynamic force, not just a static record. Karma shapes future experiences, ripening over time and expressing itself when conditions are right. Cyclic time provides the scope and opportunity for these karmic energies to be fully experienced across lifetimes if necessary. In this way, accountability is preserved, not limited to a single life, but extended across the broader journey of the soul. Thus, cyclic time ensures continuity, prevents injustice, and allows karma to remain a living, dynamic principle that drives both personal destiny and cosmic order. Yeah, next slide. So here we can make a powerful statement. Without rebirth, morality itself collapses. If time were only linear, wrongdoers could escape the consequences of their actions simply by dying, and innocents might suffer endlessly without meaning or redress. Such a system would make justice irrational and the universe profoundly unjust. Rebirth within cyclic time prevents this collapse. It ensures that every action, every intention will eventually yield its outcome. Nothing is lost, nothing is erased. Karma simply carries forward into the next cycle. This transforms justice from a vague, arbitrary idea into a measurable and coherent principle that governs the universe. In this way, cyclic time safeguards morality. It guarantees that no one can escape accountability and that no suffering is meaningless. Instead, everything finds its balance, not necessarily in the present moment, but across the unbroken cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Thus, morality does not rest on chance or human institution alone. It is woven into the very fabric of time itself. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. So, just as individual souls journey through cycles of rebirth, the cosmos itself also undergo vast rhythmic transformation. These cosmic cycles are not metaphors; they represent the grander scale of karmic unfolding, renewal, and transformation that underlies the entire universe. At one level, we have the yugas, cosmic epochs that reflect cycles of moral and spiritual ascent and decline, ascent and decline. Satya Yuga is described as the age of truth and harmony. Treta Yuga sees the beginning of decline. Dwapar Yuga balances light and darkness. Kali Yuga marks the age of fragmentation, struggle, and learning. These yugas illustrate the ebb and flow of dharma and the law of cosmic order within each largest cycle. At an even grander scale, we can have kalpas. A kalp represents a full cycle of creation, sustenance, and dissolution, the birth, life, and eventual death of the universe themselves. Just as individuals are reborn, so too the cosmos, uh, in endlessly renewed through these immense cycles. These cosmic cycles are the macrocosm mirroring the microcosm of our own individual rebirths. They remind us that the universe is built upon cyclic patterns of cause and effect, renewal and transformation. Nothing is wasted, nothing disappears. It all flows into the next cycle, maintaining both cosmic justice and cosmic balance. Yeah, next slide. So here we summarize why cyclic time is not just a philosophical idea, but the very principle that preserves the sanity of cosmos. Cyclic time ensures that finite karma lead to finite consequences. No action, no matter how profound, results in endless punishment or undeserved eternal bliss. Every deed yields proportional results across lifetimes, ensuring fairness and prevents irrational extremes. Without cyclicity, morality itself would collapse. The universe would appear arbitrary, unfair, and insane, and even insane. Wrongdoers might escape entirely, innocence might suffer without cause, and justice would lose its meaning. Cyclic time prevents this by weaving morality into the very structure of existence through cyclic time. On a cosmic scale, the cycles of yugas and kalpas guarantee renewal and balance. Dharma may decline, but through these cycles, it is always restored. This prevents stagnation, keeping the universe aligned with cosmic order. Finally, cyclic time transforms justice into rational and living principle. Cause and effect are inseparably linked, unfolding over time in ways that make sense of both suffering and prosperity. What may appear unjust in the short term is revealed as balance within the larger cycle. In this way, cyclic time upholds the sanity of cosmos, ensuring fairness, balance, and moral coherence at both individual and at the universal level. Yeah, thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Dheeraj, today, assistant professor, School of Mechanical and Material Engineering, IIT Madrid, for your wonderful presentation. If there's anyone who would like to ask any question, any participant who would like to ask any question, anyone who would like to ask any question, please.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. So, can we conclude from this presentation that our gunas are function of time, maybe across this this birth, or maybe across many births, and till we matured in terms of gunas from tamasic to rajasic and rajasic to sattvic, and then to further till the time this cycle will keep on repeating. Is my understanding correct?
Yeah, so yeah, it is correct. So basically, what happens is even the Vedantic tradition, they point out that all the mm, like very often we come across the concept of anarthas. So anarthas are also like they are accumulated. They are just an aggregate accumulation of all the tendencies and the karmic reactions that we have earned during the innumerable births till now. And there are practices in our Vedantic tradition, like Bhakti tradition is one of the practice through which we can come out of these cycles. And this can happen in any birth. Uh, there is no specific time at which this happens, but yeah, what we have currently is definitely an aggregate of uh, past innumerable births. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Thank you.